afternoon, class. How's everybody doing? Welcome to science. Today, when y'all leave, you'll be able to determine the difference between transparent, translucent, and opaque objects. So, today, you'll notice that there are a couple of pictures on your tables, 2 each, and using the prior knowledge that y'all have for these 3 words, think about where you've heard them before, what type of object they were, and use what you know before coming to class today to place them around the room on which poster you think that they go on. So go ahead and look at those pictures. And go ahead and start scattering yourselves around the room, putting those on posters that you think are correct. And I'm confident that y'all know. Yeah, go put them there. That y'all can do this. Even if you haven't learned this. If you have a question about a picture, ask. That's a door. Very good, guys. Thank you. How do y'all feel about them? Good? Looks like y'all did pretty good. Okay, so you'll need 3 things out on your desk. Your foldable, a marker out of your marker box that everyone should have, and a pen or pencil. No one needs anything else, okay? To start off, we're going to talk about transmission. And transmission is when light passes through an object. There are 2 types of transmission. Does anybody think they might know which 2 of these have transmission? Kate?
Translucent.
Translucent. And the other one?
Transparent.
Transparent. She is correct. If you'll notice on your foldable, there is a line that separates 2 of the squares from the other square. So we know that there are 2 transmission ones, so we know that these 2 over here are going to be our transparent and our translucent, just as Kate told us. And when you see words in white up on the board, that means that they go on your foldable. And I have an example foldable up here for y'all to look at. So we know that the first one is transparent. And the second one is translucent. And what do we know about both of these mediums, class? That they are both transmission. Very good. So go ahead and fill that out. These are your notes for the day. Let's talk about transparent first. Transparent means when there are objects where light passes through them completely. Up on the board, I've demonstrated kind of a picture. This vertical line here is your object. The arrows represent the light. So what do we see about the light for this demonstration I have up on the board? David?
It goes straight through.
Goes straight through, completely through. It starts on one side and goes completely through the other. So I've passed out a couple objects. Who had my transparent object? Over here. Tia had it for us. She's occupied now. So I have a CD case, transparent. Flashlight, we can see that light goes completely through. Okay? You'll see that? Everybody? So, if you'll open up your foldable, your arrows, your picture that I have up on the board is going to go right in this square. So you can be able to see it through the transparency on the foldable. And you also need to write objects where light passes through them completely. Somewhere inside your foldable underneath the transparent. Any questions so far? We good? Give you a few minutes to draw that picture. Put your pencils down and look up at me when you get done drawing that and writing your definition. Sierra, are you about done?
Yeah, I'm doing one for tier 2.
Okay.
So should be first one.
Moving on, next one, this is our second transmission, is translucent. Even though it's not white, write it on your folder, if you didn't already earlier. Translucent is when objects that allow some light to pass through, but not all of the light to pass through. Can someone think of a translucent object? Just in everyday life, maybe that might be in your refrigerator. A milk jug. You can see through it a little bit, but it's not completely clear. It's not solid and clear. So you'll see up there, the vertical line is my object. Light is going through, but the light no longer goes straight through. It scatters. It goes in different directions. It's not as easy for the light to go through translucent objects as it is for transparent objects. So make sure y'all are writing that up there. Objects that allow some light to pass through and drawing that picture. And Robert has our translucent example. We're going to go to the one where it's dark. Here's my box. You can see that you can kind of see through it. You know, if my hand is in there, you can see it. But it's not completely visible. It's a little bit fuzzy and can't really see the details. So we can see that light shines through it, but it's just not as clear as it was for the transparent object. Does everybody see that? Okay? So we've already talked about transmission, the obvious. The next medium has no transmission at all. So label your foldable under the black box, no transmission, meaning no light is let through that object at all. No light passes through. This is called opaque. And when I hear opaque, I know, like, they make women's opaque tights. You know, pantyhose, you can see through them. Oh, but they also make opaque tights that are completely colored where you can't see any of the skin. So that's what I think of when I hear opaque. The definition does not allow any light to pass through. Another example that you'll need to draw in there, we have our vertical line, which is our object. And the light completely stops with that object. No light goes through at all. And Katie has our example of an opaque object, which is a book. And we see that when the light is shined, it dead stops right there. No light passes through the other side. So most objects are opaque, kind of in our world. And if you'll look over here on the poster that y'all did earlier, we see y'all have a plate, wood, a door, a book, a body, and a milk jug. Which one's incorrect, class? The milk jug. Okay, where should the milk jug be? Translucent. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have been more clear. They thought milk was liquid. That would have been correct. Okay, so it's translucent. We have a balloon, correct? Sunglasses, you know, you can still see through them, but they're blocking out some of the light for us, so that's correct. A lampshade is translucent. You know, we want that some light to come out of the lampshade, but it has a lampshade for a reason, to block off some of it. And then a milk jug, very good. And transparent, we have just clear reading glasses, that's correct. A window and a glass cookie jar.
Give her a hand.